So welcome everybody. My name is DJ Cryptomatic. Welcome to my TED Talk. So I am, I never claimed to be this crypto expert, and I'm not. I'm just the DJ. I'm the community DJ. I've been doing it for 5 years. Spinning music shows on Twitch, but also at the community live meetups here and there in London and Vegas and Budapest. I've been traveling around the community with my music. Maybe what I do bring to the table is some broadcasting experience, because back in my days of my DJ career, when I played club gigs and festival gigs and stuff, I also had my own radio show on an actual radio station. So, putting on a show, interviewing people, live streaming, that just comes, I guess, naturally to a DJ. So that's maybe a skill that I can bring to the table. But I do know my hacks and I understand T-shares. So RHMax asked me to talk about HEX staking and staking ladders today. This is very basic though, so maybe it's for people who just are joining us new, who are finding out about the stream. We got about 10,000 people watching at the moment, which is incredible. So thank you for tuning in. Follow RHMax's channel on YouTube. That's very important. And so you see here, this is the chart of HEX. It's a lock chart. It's not that bad, actually. Like, people always say, oh, we're forever down. It's forever down. Does this look forever down to you? It's more a big sideways thing around the one penny mark for years. I mean, let's also not sugarcoat it. I mean, when you bought up here in the top of 21, of course you experienced nothing but 4 years of a downtrend. But if you bought down here, and DCA'd your way up, also if you've been staking for all of this time, then you're up, and that is what HEX is about. It's a staking coin. Like, nobody ever said in the community that you should buy HEX here and sell it again here 3 to 4 months later. That's not what HEX is for. Do that with Bitcoin or with Cardano. If you want to just liquid trade, don't do that with HEX and then get on our nerves on Twitter while the price is down. HEX is meant to be staked, and it's supposed to be staked out for years. So let me, again, for the people that are new, let me try to explain to you what HEX is. So HEX was Richard Hart's first crypto coin, his first invention, the first finished product on the blockchain. Started on Ethereum at first. We're now on PulseChain, and it is a cryptocurrency version of one of the oldest banking products in the world that exist for very, very long times, and that's the certificate of deposit. So when you keep your money in a traditional savings account where it's liquid with your bank, at current conditions, how the interest rates are and how the markets are, you can earn between maybe 2.5 to 3, maybe 3.5% interest on that money. But if you go to the bank and say, hey, I want to lock this up for a year or for 3 years or for 5 years, the bank might give you 5 to 6%. And that's kind of, and when you have an emergency and you need to get that money out earlier during those years where you said you will stake it for a longer time, you might have to pay a penalty to get your money back out. And that's kind of similar to emergency and staking. Also, contrary to popular opinion, the bank is not working with your money, and you get the interest on that work. It's actually a liability for the bank. But what they can do is they can go to the central bank and say, hey, we are this liquid here, we have all this cash, which allows them to borrow more money, fresh money from the central bank, and they work with that borrowed money. And from the gains or the profits of that work, from that you get paid some interest. So that's kind of in a nutshell how this works. But again, I'm just a DJ. I only play the music. Like, there's no financial advice here. So HEX works similar, but it's on a blockchain. Even though here nobody is working with that money, we just print it printed out of fresh air. It's drawn ponies, really. But we, the community, we give that value. That funds are being locked up for a maximum of 15 years. You can stake it however you like, for 2 years, for 2 days, for 2 months, for a year, for 3 years, for up to a maximum of 15 years. And the inflation is kept at 3.69%. Bitcoin, when HEX launched, as an example, had around 8% inflation. So it even inflates lower than Bitcoin does, right? So, and this is how HEX works. Now, then, when it comes to the staking, there are several bonuses that are important to know. This is the HEX Scout website, which is a fantastic go-to, especially for new people, or if you try to explain to onboards how HEX and how staking works. I always send people to the hexscout.com. It has everything on here. Also has a staking calculator. So it's important to understand these two bonuses that are involved with HEX. There's a bigger pays better bonus and a longer pays better bonus. Size matters, we always have these sexual connotations around everything that we do here with HEX and PulseChain. I'm not going to go into how the name PulseChain started, but maybe Richard Hart, he was the email king or the spam king of Florida, as they used to call him, with Viagra and sex toys. So maybe it's all connected. But hey, the bigger pays better bonus is now important. How much? So this is kind of like when you start your staking ladder. You want to figure out how long and how much HEX you're staking away. And this is now up to everybody's personal preference. Everybody has a different time horizon, has also different funds available. So this bigger pays better bonus is actually only attractive for whales, because this only kicks in if we push this number here, I believe at 75 million HEX. If you have that much to stake away, that is currently $328,000. Then you can see here this percentage number going up. It's now 5%. So for the average user, the average Hexican, the bigger pays better bonus is not that important, but the longer pays better bonus, that counts for everybody, right? So let's say you have 1 million HEX. We want to stake that out, which is currently at a price of, this is PHEX on PulseChain, it's $4,695. If that is your starting balance, what you want to invest in HEX. And if you stake this out for the maximum length, which is Quattro Cinco, is the 555 days, that's 15.2 years, you get a longer pays better bonus on that stake of 200%, which means that even though your principal always remains 1 million HEX, the smart contract gives you a virtual additional 2 million HEX. And now it comes to the T-shares. So based on how much HEX you put into the smart contract, from that it calculates how many T-shares you are getting, right? So even though you only stake 1 million HEX, but you do it for 15 years, the contract looks at your stake as if you would stake 3 million. So it's the 1 million principal and the 2 million additional as a longer pays better bonus. So if you want to set up a staking ladder, it makes sense to start with the long stakes first. Why? Because every day the T-share rate, which calculates how many T-shares per how much HEX you are getting for your stake, goes up. So tomorrow already it's a little bit less. In a week from now it's a lot less. In a month from now it's even more less. So How, again, no financial advice, but I can only tell you what I'm doing. If you want to start with a staking ladder where you say every year you're getting something out, you have a hex stake ending, so you always kind of have funds coming to you. You want to start with the long stakes first. And this is also capped with the 200% for the 10-year mark. So if I'm pulling this back to just 10, 11 years, it's also 200%. So there's no difference between anything above 10 years up to the 15 years. The longer pays better bonus stays at 200%. It's only in the years lower than 10 years where this goes down and you get less bonus, right? So you want to start with those stakes that are above 10 years first, because right now you get the best possible T-share rate, and that is a graph that is forever just going upwards. It's these built-in pumpermentals. That's what we mean by that, is that the T-share rate continues to go up every day. So if you have the plan to set up a 15-year staking ladder and have something coming out every year, I have a yearly staking ladder, so that means once a year. It's like my little payday. I have a stake ending, and then it's 15 years, and then you want to go back 14, 13, 12, 10, 11. It's not advisable to do like with small amounts of hex or do daily stakes. I remember Hodl Dog in the beginning and Hexologist as well. They did daily stakes. They had a stake ending every year, and then on the Ethereum every day, and then on the Ethereum side, the fees went up so high for the transactions to end those stakes that this became financially unfeasible. So for me, I looked at this and said, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm waiting till I have a little bit of a bag together, and then I'm staking that out every year. And I'm still doing that on both chains, so on Ethereum and on PulseChain. Every year I'm starting a fresh Quattro Cinco, and I have been doing this ever since the beginning in 2020. Oh, here comes RHMax. Is my time already up? You see, once I start to waffle on this stuff, then but just to finish, another strategy is what some of the OGs have done, is that they didn't necessarily do yearly stakes no matter what happens. They did cycle stakes. So, if you look at the Bitcoin stock to flow model, which is this here, you always see a halvening, and 1.5 years later, there was a top. Halvening, 1.5 years later was a top. Halvening, 1.5 years later was a top. So if that continues, we have the halvening behind us, and we should now really see a crazy pump. No financial advice. So this might happen. And some of the OGs timed their stakes so that they come out around the top of such a cycle, which is another interesting staking theory.
It's a chart of future market supply, right?
Yes.
I hear Rich's voice saying that chart of future market supply, only crypto.
But this is how it works, and you need to make up your own mind what your personal time preference is, and that is really best to use Hex. It's not a short-term thing. It's not a get rich quick. It's a get rich eventually over a very long time period, and that is what we're living through right now.
Awesome, Awesome stuff, man. I like the Hex token. It's my 2 cents. Pretty good. It's pretty good.